It worked.
Yes.
You know what? Honestly, you did such a good job. Why don't you you do the hosting duties? Introduce it, Will. Come on the spot. You can do it.
Hi, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm sorry.
If you're
I
not,
love Talladega. I love
if you're not
Talladega
first, you're
Nights,
last, baby.
Welcome to Explain Yourself with Kevin. Sorry.
And Will, we are
Kevin.
going to do it a little differently today. We have more creators on the screen, but we're going to talk about one project. We're going to talk about the anthology, The Concrete Arcanum. And Nathan, you are at a comic convention, so we're going to ask you first to tell us which show you're at, how it is going, and then we'll have you just go straight into if somebody was going past your booth in 30 seconds or less, how would you get them into this anthology?
Very good. Greetings from ValleyCon in Fargo, North Dakota. It is a show that's getting back on its feet after the pandemic, and I'm pleased to say that it's doing well. We've had a good, steady stream of people pass the booth, a lot of good interest in both my projects and Concrete Arcanum writ large. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to promoting the project all weekend long here.
Where in the world is this show?
Yes, exotic Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh, wow. All right.
Right.
Is that the place where all the murders happened?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Fargo, that's right.
Yeah, right. Yes. Well, they called the movie that because nobody wanted to call it Minneapolis. You know, that's not as cool of a title.
It's not, don't you know?
Oh yeah. Well, I've lived in Minnesota all my life, so you know we hear the accent all the time.
Yeah.
All right, I'll spare you that one. That's it.
So
but yes,
as they come back to your booth, and you're going
Right.
to get them on this, what is this anthology, and why would somebody stop and grab it?
So Concrete Arcanum is a 120-page anthology of short stories that take place in the modern day and ask the question, what would happen if magic, monsters, all the figures from mythology, it came out that they were still alive and living amongst us, and magic was real, monsters were real, and they were coming out of the shadows. They were stepping out of the closet. I wanted to challenge the creators to see how they think that would affect things in the modern day. Would anybody at this point actually be that surprised? Would some people be excited about it? Would some people be upset about it? You know, so I was really looking forward to seeing the collision of the modern world and the mythical world, and all these fine people that here this evening have not disappointed in the slightest. We've got 20 stories, 35 fantastic creators. The professionalism and talent that have been brought to this project, I'm beyond belief at how well it has gone overall. So a personal thank you to not only everybody who showed up tonight to be on the stream, but also all of the creators that have turned out for this, have been posting about it on social media, blasting it out to their respective audiences, and just making it a project that I am incredibly proud of.
Well, Will and I think everybody who showed up tonight, everybody who didn't, is dead to us. I want a list. I want names, and that's it. It's over.
Okay.
I guess we will forgive them this time. Hey, Melissa J. Bessie, congratulations! I think somebody's chocolate Kickstarter was a huge success, and you can breathe a sigh of relief, guys. If you missed out on it, follow MJ on Twitter, because you can get her chocolates outside of crowdfunding too. But congratulations! I am waiting.
Wrong project, Kevin.
Wait, oh no, that's Aurelia. Oh no, I'm so excited about chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh no, MJ's still going. Never mind.
Yep.
Yeah. Melissa,
we've got an MJ and a GE, and I drink a lot. Forgive me. We had COVID and a hurricane near my house this week. I'm a little off.
Yeah, man.
So wait, there's no chocolate? Because I was under the impression that they was going to be giving out chocolate.
Oh yeah, we put it outside your door. If it's not there, I'd talk to the missus. No, oh MJ, I'm so sorry. You're the magic comic. I got my GEs and my MJs confused.
Yeah. But Melissa is also in Concrete Arcanum. In fact,
oh nice.
Her story is Even Orcs Have Ghost Problems, and it is she brings the cuteness and the whimsy that you expect from Alchemist of Aurelia to the book. So if you like that, you should absolutely check out her short story in Concrete Arcanum.
Absolutely. Okay, MJ, you're not dead to us. You're always on. You're always on our good list. You're never on our naughty list. So how did you grab these creators? I'm gonna make it more specific right now to the people who are on the stream, just because it's easier. So our good buddies Travis and John, we know you really well, so we're going to make you wait because we've met Mariah once, and Brooke is new to us. So, how did you get Mariah and Brooke on this book?
Let's see. A lot of begging, a lot of pleading, a lot of favors. Some of them sexual. I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but. Let's see. I was very desperate, and they had much better things to do. But they,
Will and I have both offered sexual favors for our anthologies, which is why we've only done single books. We can't get any yeses.
The chafing does become an issue after a while. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. I put out an open call to a few of the Facebook groups that I am a part of, and specifically Facebook groups that I knew had people who had done Kickstarters before or were interested in becoming Kickstarter creators and professionals. So that was an important part of things. I wanted people that I knew were going to follow through on what they said they were going to do, and lo and behold, they have. So
that's a huge concern. We've talked to many people who've done anthologies, and if 70% of the people do the job, you have 0% of your anthology done. So that is a huge concern. So that's smart to kind of make sure of that.
Right. Let's see. There were a few other postings in general urban fantasy authors and creator posts, but those did not get nearly so much of a reaction. So this was, as I've said before, I'm absolutely blessed to have the crew that I do.
Yeah. So Mariah, what about this project got you excited to be part?
Was it the favors? No. Sorry.
A lot of the comic work that I do already is very supernatural, modern day stuff. I don't usually call it urban fantasy just because I feel like my vibe and aesthetic is usually more like cottagecore or haunted mansion. But I really love modern day vampires, so I had to pitch with a vampire story.
Right. Now, what is the audience? Because I'm thinking of Usual Haunts. Skews a little older. What is the audience for this anthology?
So the anthology itself is all ages, which I will say that I kind of feel like I snuck my way into this anthology a little bit. I got to it because M. Sorcier, who does Sacrimony, had sent me the link. A really good friend of mine, and said I should pitch for it. So if you're familiar with Usual Haunts, it's an adult comic that I'm just starting, and the story Modern Ghouls that I did for Concrete Arcanum is actually kind of like an alternative universe of it. But it's definitely all ages, appropriate for anybody, even though there is one poop joke that I stuffed in.
Oh my God. I have daughters, and little kids love poop jokes. So that blood, guts, gore, no, not so much. Poop jokes, A-okay.
Yeah, so the characters will be a little bit familiar to anybody who's seen some of the Usual Haunt stuff. It's centering on Mathilde and Jamie, who are two really good vampire pals. they're going about their nightly business, talking about millennial things like going to college and how student debt is insane and like wanting to have kids someday, and then also bad Florida legislation, just
Where did you possibly find any wood for that fire?
I don't know. I mean, usually Florida has such good legislation.
So, Brooke, how did you get involved? And then we're going to have to introduce. Kay just came in the chat. So, Brooke, how did you get involved? And then I'd love to be introduced to Kay because I don't believe I have met you yet. So, Brooke, how did you get involved, and what is your story? Not your general story, your book story.
It started many years ago. No, no. I luckily got to hear about the pitch on, hey, I'm thinking about doing this anthology. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And being an artist coming into her own later in life, I'm actually been inspired by my son to follow this path a little bit more. I got really lucky that Nathan agreed to let me try this out as a new adventure. So kicked around some story ideas.
Artist, are you doing just the artwork, or are you also writing it?
No, so I actually co-wrote the story with Erin Casey. She hired me to do some artwork for her, and this just happened to kind of come in at the perfect time, and we kind of wrote this story up together, and then I illustrated it, and so it's been a learning curve, and it's kind of awesome.
What did that feel? How many pages is this, and how does that? Is it like dipping your toes in? How long is your chapter?
So our particular story is 8 pages.
So it's still pretty long. That's still putting the labor in.
Yeah, because we might as well throw it into the deep end and just run with it at this point. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge for me being a newbie.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Every one of us just pretended we knew what we were doing and jumped into this pool. So welcome to this pool doing the same thing. Will and I are not sure we know what we're doing yet, but we know Travis Gibbs. So we figure we've got an in.
Cool. All right.
What is your story pertaining to?
So our story is actually told from the perspective of our witch's familiar, who happens to be a fennec fox and is the only one who can see the manifestation of our witch's doubts and fears and inner dialogue. So it's all about brain weasels and how they tend to kind of gnaw away at our self-esteem and consciousness in there. And Fen actually comes to the aid of our witch and helps her believe in herself.
No, that's awesome. Brain weasels are very strong, diligent, and terrible things.
They're absolutely horrible. So
we got Chuck Pino in the chat says, "Look at all these amazing comic creators. So excited for this book." I thought it said cam creators. I was like, Chuck, I think you're watching the wrong live stream.
He says con creators. So are we creators of cons?
Comic scams.
I didn't want to tell you guys, but I'm running this thing in North Dakota this week, and it's going pretty well. We kind of reopened it after the pandemic, and we're feeling pretty strong. So Nathan, can you please introduce me to Kay and Kay's work on this anthology? Because I didn't get a chance to say hello before the show.
Let's see. This is Kayla Matt. She did a wonderful story about Grim Reapers who are a pair of Grim Reapers who are fighting over whose jurisdiction a particular hospital is. Kayla, you need to expound on this because I read that and I thought it was hilarious.
Okay, yeah. My story's an 8-pager called I Don't Get Paid Enough for This. Yeah. And it deals with a nurse's exasperation as she meets 2 Grim Reapers for the first time. And, well, yeah. Because the soul is from one state and died in a particular way, he's supposed to fall into one particular jurisdiction. But, yeah. Because he's not in his home state and whatnot, and things get kind of mixed up between these two reapers.
So vacation deaths can cause afterlife shenanigans. Yes. Entanglements is better, but so he said it was really funny. Is this particular short like comedic, or was the pitch more comedic? And what are you looking for with that story?
Oh, well, I don't know. I like to think it was comedic. I don't know. Things kind of, are subjective. I had to think of the word there for a moment.
The tough thing about comedy too is you've written it 4 months ago and you've gone through 4, 5, 6 drafts, and the joke that was hilarious the first time you wrote it, the 8th time you read it, you're not so sure about. And then when somebody reads the book for the first time, the joke's hilarious again. So your comedy becomes harder to see the more you've worked on it. But I heard Nathan say it was hilarious. So the person putting the book together said it was funny. So I think you probably passed the bar.
And to that, both that and what Brooke was saying earlier, I did not let anybody in. Everybody in here in this book earned it and was absolutely deserves to be here. So that is one of my favorite things about putting together an anthology, is that you have people who have done, like, I think I have one guy that has done 26 Kickstarters, and we have people for whom this is their first Kickstarter. So I love being able to set up newbies next to veterans and have everybody, carry their own weight, and everybody has.
And you can just see this here with the group. Brooke says this is her first thing she's working on. We know that Travis does like 3 campaigns every month. So Mariah, we've already talked to you. Well, let's get to the guys. I made you wait. So why did you let Travis and John in your book?
Well, I mentioned the favors, right? Nah,
yeah.
Let's see.
I'll go anywhere for favors. I was at a con in Congo. It was canceled because of the pandemic, and Nathan goes, "Hey, I have a book you could be in." But
no, the stories were good. These are both names that I had seen around the Kickstarter space and the comics launch community. Russell Nolte is a personal.
When you said 26 campaigns, the name that came to my head is like, I bet Russell's part of this.
Yep, that's Russell.
I was like, it's either Russell or Simon Burks with that number of campaigns.
Right.
I mean, I'm at 26, but you have to count like the Advocators and the Tales of the Collective, which I'm like adjacent.
Yes.
I was like, is he talking about me? Let me do the math.
Right. It was Russell, and he and John bring a great story about a couple who have an intruder in their house, but can't seem to stop bickering long enough to deal with it. And again, one of the funnier stories in the book. But let's see. John came on via Russell, and
yes, I ride his coattails. That's what I do. I ride on a coattail. That's my job.
I mean that guy. It's hard to avoid his coattails, quite frankly.
So
Travis,
did he reach out to you, John, and say, "Hey, I've got this idea. I'd love to see what you could do with Artwise"? Did you kind of reach out to him? How did you as a pair come together?
Actually, in 2018, Russell came to me with this story, and didn't really have a home for it yet, but wanted to know if I wanted to illustrate it. I did some preliminary sketches, and he liked them, and then it just kind of sat. And then he came back to me with Nathan's project. Said, "Hey, did we ever do anything with this?" Is what his question was to me. I said, "Well, I have all these sketches, whatever." Right. And that's how it came about. Yeah.
That's super cool. Travis, who is doing the art on your story?
Who knows? Just
Somebody you met in Fargo?
yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Nathan paid all the bucks. I just sat. In fact, I didn't even write it. I'll be honest. I'm just the ghostwriter. I'm just coming for the appearances. I wanted to get the appearance fees. There's an appearance fee for this, right?
Yeah, we're still
Sure.
waiting for you to pay it.
Yeah.
No. So there's a local artist named Elias Gambit. That's his
That
name.
feels fake.
That is the coolest name.
One of the two is fake. He's actually legally turning his name to Gambit. Currently, his name's Elias. I can't say his
Okay.
last name. It's Spanish.
Okay.
But he's done a few covers for me. I love the guy. He's a local tattoo artist. I let him do a backup story in Voodoo that was written by somebody else. I let him do a story in Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, written by somebody else. And I was like, you know what? I should finally do something. I saw Nathan's pitch. I had a really funny idea. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if he wants to do it. He was like, I'd absolutely love to do it. And he killed it. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool story. It's about leprechauns invading a casino. And the casino,
That's a
the
great
Native
concept.
American casino, does not take kindly to that, and they respond in kind. It's a lot of fun playing with, both the nationalities, but being truthful to both, I guess. I mean, leprechauns are kind of fun, but allowing that, Nathan's only thing was like, "Hey, you're playing with Native Americans. Be careful." I was like, "They
Right.
win." He's like, "It's fine then."
No,
Never mind. Spoiler. Sorry.
I'm hearing most of these stories have a comedic flair. Is this a comedic anthology, or did we just happen to get the creators who came with comedic stories?
It was not my intention to make it all comedic, but I mean, so many people were knocking it out of the park with the comedy that I largely gave people free rein to do what they wanted. I just gave them the pitch and say, hey, what would happen if, and let them run with it. Okay, so I don't know. Do you want a serious one? Because my entry is actually on the more serious side. It is.
Why don't we, Travis? Why don't you start scrolling through and let's get to the
ready.
stories as we get to them. There we go. But yeah, tell us about each of the stories. If we haven't met the people on the team, we'd love to hear who's working on them and kind of the bent of each story. This is we found, Will and I have found that if we have 4 projects on and one is an anthology, it's very tough to either be fair to the anthology or the other 3 projects. That's why when we talked to you, we said, let's just do yours. So this is your night. Take your time and tell us all about it.
Not a problem. So Closure Inc., the first one at the top, is, again, another with a serious bent, but also takes a comedic bent, but also kind of has a serious undertone to it. It's about a private investigator who is a ghost and helps people, kind of acts as a exterminator for other people who have ghost problems. So a lot of the comedy in that one comes from the kind of the guy is just kind of shisty and is constantly trying to upsell the people who want them to get rid of the ghost out of his house. Moan, the next one there, is by Russell and John. Kind of gave you the short pitch for that already. Let's see. Date Night is I love all of these, but this has got to be one of my favorites. It's about dating apps in the modern magical world, and kind of I don't want to spoil the gag, but things get a little hairy later as the evening progresses.
I can't wait to find out when I read it if that's a pun. Who was the team on that one?
Oh, excuse me. Yes, story by newcomer Seth Tamarkin and art by Swapnil Lambe. So great quality up. And here we have Melissa J. Massey's story. Even orcs have ghost problems. Kind of exactly what it sounds like. I love stories where the title is what it's about.
Is
Exorcist.
MJ doing art and writing duties?
Of course, I'd
Okay.
expect nothing less. Let's see, but yeah, it, it kind of provides a nice twist on, not the typical orc, that you would see in Lord of the Rings that are just kind of, mindless stereotype Planet of Hats kind of creatures. Let's see. Then we have Get With the Times by L.K. Ingino and Abby Butler. I'm really trying to think of how to describe that one, other than if you like snarky teenagers and kind of a Adventure Time vibe, that's absolutely what you're going to get with this one. Let's see. Then of course, we have Girl of My Dreams, The Perp's a Real Sucker, or Stoker, I Barely Know Her, by Big Tim Styles.
Okay. You know
like,
what?
if you
that his artwork is, I wouldn't have said his name, but now that you say it, it's obvious his artwork.
Yeah, Big Tim Styles, and art by Ahmad Rafat, and it's and who does all of the Tim's Girl of My Dreams stuff, I believe. Yeah, but if you've never read Tim's stuff, he is hilarious, and
bonkers.
Right. Let's see. And then we have Kayla's story. I don't get paid enough for this, which we touched on earlier.
Does Kayla do both art and writing, or?
Yep, I don't have the budget to hire a different artist. And I
you know
went to
what?
school for this, so.
Will and I don't have the talent to not find a budget to hire an artist, but darn, do we respect the people who can do it all.
Right. And let's see. And then,
right.
Mariah's story with Modern Ghouls, story and art both by Mariah. I just loved the when she was talking about it earlier. I didn't get a chance to jump in, but I just love the just utterly mundaneness with which her characters go through this utterly insane situation. So I loved that juxtaposition. Let's see. We have Olive and the Ogre by Sarah Cook, art by Sarah Setna, and this is probably like the sweetest story in the entire book. It's just these two kind of lost kids, finding each other, having a good day, and it gave me the feels real hard. I'm not gonna lie.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Right.
Sarah should be on the show next Friday night, so hopefully we'll remember and ask her to kind of talk about how that came to be as well.
Right on. Please. And then we have Strong and Free by Dino Caruso, art by Sean Phelps, colors by Hugo Aquino, and letters by Jay Valerian. This one is an interesting one. It took me a second to follow it at first, but it is about Sasquatches versus mermen versus hunters. So we have these hunters that are chasing a Sasquatch, and the Sasquatch encounters a merman, and and it just kind of gets more bonkers from there. So again, this is another example of how the creators who found me just kind of took this concept and ran with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. Then so excited to have J.L. Johnson and crew on this book. I've really enjoyed Ennead, The Rule of Nine. I was absolutely thrilled when he agreed to be a part of this. The Retrieval is about a special covert black ops team, magically imbued, who have to go over a kind of a magical ticking doomsday device once it kind of becomes public knowledge that magic is real and a clear and present danger to the world. And then we have Matthew Kunt was almost on here today, but we have his story Toll Collection with art by Ayrton Sehan. And yeah, this is another one of those that I just loved. a troll who, you know, traditionally collects coins from people passing over the bridge has to learn to adapt to the new world
Yeah.
and how to, you know, get money from people who are, you know, not paying. And like it's right there in the sample image. Like no one's paying in coins anymore, so he's got to figure out what to do about it. Right. Then we have Weasels and Witchcraft by Aaron Casey and Brooke Lydick here, as Brooke pitched it. Kind of a cute but psychological approach to the premise that I think the audience will really enjoy.
Mhm.
We have The Truth Is Not There by Vaibhav and Divyanshu Kamar. This one is very X-Files inspired, and it has a great twist at the end that I don't think people will expect. It's about an older brother who comes home from college and it isn't acting quite right, and the main character has to kind of figure out what's up with that. Let's see, Turner Family Terrors.
Nice.
Yeah, Robert Krish and co. bring us another installment of Turner Family Terrors, Beach Day, in which the Turners have to, you know, fight down demons, deal with vampires, you know, as they do. If you've not checked out the Turner Family Terrors series, very good. Highly recommend that as well. Here we have Travis's story, Old Ways, and this was Travis's story was another example of I didn't expect people to go in this direction. I didn't expect anybody to go in this direction, but once Travis turned this in, I was like, of course, you know, mythologies are, if every mythology is real, they're going to have their own kind of squabbles and infighting and such, and you know, they're not necessarily going to get along. So watching two different folklores collide was that brilliant. I loved it.
When would leprechauns ever fight with anyone?
Nah.
It seems so off-brand.
Well,
Right.
well, one time they went to the hood, Kevin. You should watch the season. And I think that really sums up how it went down is when they went to the hood. They've done other things, but I think the hood is really where it peaks.
Fantastic. And let's see. Last we have my story written and arted by myself. And
another do-it-aller.
Yeah, you know, that's how I roll. Well, and the story is about a young man who has to come out to the humans that have raised him for the last 14 years. He comes out as a changeling. He was switched out for their real baby at birth and has, you know, been living with them ever since. And yeah,
you couldn't make that a comedy?
I know,
man.
right? I'm a disturbed individual. I'm just gonna be honest about that, right? So and yeah, that is the epic lineup that we have. Yeah, I'm ending the anthology as a downer, but you know what? I've got no regrets about that. So,
well, who does your cover? Is that you?
That was me as well. Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you. Because, like, you know, what can I say? I got an ego.
You know, you know that if you're doing it, it's going to be finished, and you can, you know, use it to. I say again, I'm not going to name any names, but running anthologies are very difficult, and the more you can do, the more is done, and I think that's really smart, especially because you can, and it's a really great image. So.
Let me say this too. He told me in another interview that I saw him with, he was really inspired by Shadowrun, and I could see this Shadowrun source book like cover. If you've ever played Shadowrun, like this is a Shadowrun source book cover. Like,
well done, you got me, and I will own that proudly. Yes, before I ever played Dungeons and Dragons, I played Shadowrun back in the day, and one of the books was one of the compendium books, or not compendium, but the expansion
Source
books was
books.
called
Source
source books. Thank you. Was called Magic in the Shadows, and it featured a elf girl summoning a trash monster, a city elemental, into existence, and that was absolutely an inspiration for this cover.
How did you come up with the colors? Because they pop even from far away.
Let's see. I could not tell you where exactly, but the blue and the magenta, I don't know, that felt very both modern and mystical to me. So I honestly cannot tell you anything beyond that, other than it just seemed both contemporary of the now, and also gave things a nice contrast and a nice glow.
Cool.
A quick question for you. This is your first anthology, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I happen to know that at least 3 of the people on your team have run a few successful anthologies
Yeah,
themselves.
at least, right.
John, Travis, and Russell.
Yeah.
You're
How
right.
dare
was,
you? How dare
okay,
you?
right. So that is what. Okay, so this is I should clarify. This is the first anthology that I've created. I was lucky enough to be in Russell's anthologies, the Cthulhu is Hard to Spell series.
Oh, we're just talking running it. We're being part of an anthology,
yeah.
but
So, I mean,
literally being the person
you really
who's
had so much, experience on, some of the creators that were on there. I mean, did you tap into that at all, or I mean, what was it like having that much kind of help on your bench? I guess that were contributing to the anthology.
Let's see. I've honestly always been the kind of, I was the kid that sat in the back of the classroom and just observed things. So I confess I was not actually brave enough to tap their knowledge, but to actually ask them questions. But I was absolutely observing how Russell ran the Cthulhu is Hard to Spell series, and watched what he did, how often he updated, like kind of the thing that he put together, or how he put together the book and the campaign and the rewards. And that was very much an inspiration for me, and a model that I have followed for Concrete Arcanum.
Cool.
Yeah, there's certainly worse people to follow than Russell,
Right.
and Travis and John. If you had paid attention, but I understand you were part of that one, so it does make sense.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay attention to your teammate a lot. What has been the easiest, most gratifying, most beautiful? We're going to start positive thing about running this particular anthology.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but honestly, I was anticipating a lot more people dropping out, having excuses. The joke about, coordinating with artists is like, herding cats, right? So I was honestly bracing myself for a lot of that kind of thing, but everybody delivered. Everybody got their stuff in within the margin of error that I had set forth. Everybody, there was one person that did have to back out, but they notified me way in advance.
What is that like to have somebody notify you that they're backing out? That sounds amazing.
Right? I was like, you know what? Honestly, respect. Like, thank you for, just thank you for just thank you for not coming up to the deadline, being like, and backing out at literally like a week before we launched the Kickstarter or something like that. And I will take actually being notified that somebody's backing out 1,000 times over continuing to tell me
It's
that
coming.
you're gonna, it's coming, and then like, well, we're launching the Kickstarter now, so bye. Sorry, train's leaving. Got to go now.
I totally understand what you're saying. I once pitched before they merged with Boom. I pitched a book to Archaea, and like within, I would say, 4 weeks, they sent me a rejection, and I sent them back an immediate thank you, because they had the respect for my want to be part of them enough to tell me I didn't fit with what they were doing at that point.
Right.
And I didn't have to sit here for 3 years going, I wonder if it's the bottom of a pile and anyone's ever seen it. I wonder if they didn't like it or what. But getting someone telling you either I can't be part of the anthology, I was wrong, I can't do it, or no, this doesn't work for me right now is so great. And I think especially in indie comics, because we're all wanting to be people pleasers, I think a lot of us don't want to say the bad news. And it's so much worse. Just come out, send the email, make the phone call, and say, hey, this isn't going to work right now. And you know, it doesn't mean people are going to like getting that phone call, but I promise it's preferable to getting no phone call.
Yeah, hard same. A no is better than no answer. A no is better than or false promises that aren't going to that you can't live up. So
okay, we're not going to go totally negative, but has there been a lesson that you have learned that will help you in your next anthology that might help another creator that's thinking about doing an anthology in the future?
Right. So all that said, I think also sticking to your guns, sticking to your deadlines. While I did build in a few margins for error, largely I think moving forward I will treat everybody the same, no matter who they are and what they promise. I'm being deliberately vague, in case you can't tell.
We know you're talking about John. It's fine.
All right, let's address this, Nathan. I was late on lettering. I got it. You guys are kidding, but I was a day late on lettering, but I told them about it a week ahead of time that we were working on it. I showed them that the art was finished. I did my best, Nathan.
Boy, if somebody's late on lettering, if you're late on lettering, you know you're in safe hands, because lettering is coming. If you're late on art, that's a little scarier. But no, you have to stick to your guns and be. Yeah, you kind of have to be the bad guy sometimes. You're the sheriff of this, right?
You do eventually have to be a hard ass. You got to be the captain. And I mean, I used kind of a train metaphor earlier, but yeah, you can't hold up the entire train because one person is late. So I'm again not going to name names, but there is. No.
We're not shoving anybody under the bus.
There is another party that I would have very much liked to have had on board, but eventually I had to make the executive decision that train's got to leave the station with or without them.
Well, that's Will. We know that's Will.
right. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. This time. Next time. Maybe next time we'll get him on. But that's it. So that, but again, overall, I'm not falsely accentuating the positive or anything like that. When I say like 90%, 95% of people got their stuff in, were communicative, were professional, and I just had a great crew go through everything. Yeah.
So
and
Shawnee,
patient with me as well.
Yeah. Shawnee asked, how difficult at times was it to be the strict captain during the process?
Again, honestly, with this crew, it wasn't at all. Again, the hardest thing I had to do was to, again, pull the trigger and say, we got to launch even without this one part, without this one party. But otherwise, like I said, 95% of everybody, 95% of the rest of the people that put in their application, that filled out the interest form, showed up, followed through. Like literally had 2 stories drop out, and that was it. And that's statistically pretty dang good.
That really is something I'm always interested in, because I think of a rock band having 15 songs. They know they're going to have 11 song album. They pick their 11 songs, and then they put them in an order. So what's the thought process of getting Travis's story, getting Brooke's story, getting Mariah's story? What order do they come in the anthology? Is it literally who comes first, or are you looking at themes? How do you order the books in an anthology?
Let's see. I decided to put myself at the end of the book, just out of, I don't know, that just felt like the right thing to do, out of I don't know, good taste, courtesy, and I did generally want to put all the people. I did generally want to put my crew before me. I'm going to start out with the book. Oh, well, it's like, there you go. It's like, that's the metaphor I wanted. It's like putting together a mixtape a little bit. So you kind of want to start the energy here, start strong, maybe like dip a little bit, then crescendo, then, to dip a little bit, and then finish out, like, I guess with, whatever is kind of last.
The grand finale.
The grand finale.
So you started out talking as if you were real humble guy, and you're like, I'm the grand finale.
You saw what I did there.
So, question for kind of the other creators. I know you brought in a lot of not only just Kickstarter, first time Kickstarter creators, but also you're working with some Kickstarter veterans that have had recent projects and also have projects coming down the pipe. So I happen to know that Travis guy up there's got some things coming, and I think that John dude has something coming too. And
heck yeah,
Mariah, I'm pretty sure you got something in the works too. So what's coming down the pipe for you, Travis?
Well, I
in
have
the pipe.
Two Kickstarters live right now, 3, including this one. Now I think about it. So yeah, I've got Granite State Punk live right now, Granite State Punk 2, which I'm super stoked about, which is doing really well, just funded today. And then I have No Contest, which is a book that I was hired as a writer, not as a thing. I'm not Snowpaw. Oh, okay.
Don't relax. Give me 3 seconds to get the banner in, Travis. Jesus Christ. You know what? Guys, our very good friend Rob Multari has just launched Snowpaw, and it is a really wonderful Scottish fantasy. We were going to give Travis a moment, but he had to go full Travis Gibb on us.
Yeah, right.
I'll have you know that I wrote in Nightwolf, so there you go, what you can buy on that. So I am also in that one if you want to keep it up. Go ahead. I can go all day.
Actually, Travis is right. You should really buy that because Kevin Joseph wrote in that too.
Yes, right, exactly.
And more importantly, much more importantly, Tyler James and whatchamacallit from Boston Metaphysical Society, 2 actual good writers, and Travis and I just riding coattails.
Right.
Yeah, but that the Nightwolf's an artist, man. He makes it all look pretty, so you're fine. Like you don't even have to pay attention. I got werewolves fighting werewolves fighting angels. You're fine. Like I don't need to write the thing. Like just let it be pretty.
Yeah, it's true.
Nice. All right, man.
Yeah. Good.
So I forgot about No Contest already.
It's been a few more days, but that was a job that I got hired to do. So I'm in it, but it's not an Orange Comb project, even though I brought my whole team with me. But it's a cool project. It's all
just
about.
As an aside, are you happy all these campaigns are running at the same time? A little like, oh, this is pulling my hair out. How does that feel?
I always feel I'm letting someone down. Like Nathan, like right before here, I saw that he posted, and I was like, hey, if you have a slot, let me be on, because I really feel it's not just about creating the books, it's about being part of the process, right?
Mhm.
I know that when I run an anthology, there's nothing more than I hate than the person who doesn't sit, and they're also the first person who's asking for their comps. They never did anything the whole campaign. They're just like, hey, I was promised comp. We just got the books today, dude. Like, chill. I send them out to backers first. So I never want to be that guy, and I'm always grateful for every opportunity. So thank you, Nathan, for being part of it. I was part of his launch party, and I always want to be part of this thing because this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. It's my career. So I'm willing to work as hard as I need to do to get all these campaigns funded as best as I can, trying to give my best work to each and every one.
You're doing great. So is that a good thing when artists and contributors are asking for their comps already? Or, okay. Asking for a friend. Yeah.
I will give you one piece of advice because I heard the whole story about you talking about letting people down and being a little tougher. It's so important on the second one, if you do another one, to be that guy, right? On the second one of the things that I learned is you love these people. Now you're starting to build relationships with these people. And because of that, they take advantage of you, sometimes not intentionally. They just, they'll be like, oh, I'm going to do this. And you're like, oh, you got that. And then even more so if they got like a top tier artist, in my case, they got a top tier artist. I'm like, oh, right. delayed. And then literally everyone's done but your friend, right? And then you have to have a conversation with your friend. And, you have to do that. And it makes it awkward. And they don't want to talk to you. You used to talk every day. And now you're talking once a month because he doesn't have the pages yet. Like, it gets weird. Yeah. So just don't do it. And if you just stick by your deadline and let everybody's the same, I think that's easier and you're going to do way better.
I think I'm going to do an anthology. I don't have friends, so that's I'm good.
It stole my line. I was going to be like, well, I'm safe. I don't have any friends. So,
Kevin Joseph's supposed to write Cthulhu, but apparently he doesn't know anything about Cthulhu. Whatever.
Octopus monster.
I'm saying this right now. God bless you guys. The last two Cthulhu campaigns I will back ever are Clay Adams. Is it Dreamscape that's out now?
Yeah.
And Travis Gibbs' Cthulhu Invades Peter Pan. And anything Miskatonic High, because Miskatonic High I actually really enjoy, and it's in Lovecraft.
So
I don't give a shit about Cthulhu. I back all of my friends doing it, and I'm done. I am done backing Cthulhu. I love you guys. Write your Lovecraft. You have like 1,400 people that are going to back you. Kevin Joseph is out after Cthulhu Invades Peter Pan.
Dude, that just sounds
can you get
so
that?
wrong.
I want that as my back quote, please. Please. Can we get that? And I'm serious. That's going to be a back quote on.
I'd rather not because it's a little aggressive, but it's also very true. I'm done with Lovecraft. You guys have your fans. I'm going to cheer you on, but I'm done backing it because I get all of these books and I'm like, I don't care about Lovecraft. All right, I apologize.
No, that's fantastic.
I can't care about it. I try.
Our good friend John, I know for a fact that you've got Rancidville 3 coming down real soon. As soon as you can get that slacker Ryan, to do something right. And then you've also got another anthology because your first anthology was just awesomely successful.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I have Rancidville 3 planned. Ryan Kroboth and I run our campaigns together for that. So he has a comic called Sunmaker. He's working on Sunmaker 3. But in between him trying to finish Sunmaker 3, he's also working on this comic called Crossover Division.
That writer is such an ass, man. Yeah.
So, it kind of and he does a bunch of covers for people. So he's stretched for time. But we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we can launch at the end of fall. So maybe the end of October, beginning of November. If not, then it won't launch until after my next anthology, which is the Not So Fair Tales 2, A Fabulous Journey, or A Fabulous Journey, Fabli, Fabulous Journey. Yeah. So, and yeah, that my first anthology was incredibly successful. So, yeah, this will hopefully be the same. Yeah.
It's a beautiful book, man. I mean,
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was I had great people on it, Will. So it wasn't. It's and as Nathan probably knows, it's all about the team. It's a group of people that you curate to work with you, and on an anthology you have to be, as Travis has mentioned and Nathan alluded to, and you have to be a taskmaster. You got to be the guy that is driving the ship, and you can't let people get away with anything, and they do that, not intentionally. It's just that we all have busy lives and we all have shit going on, and some of us are old, like me and Will. So
get off my lawn. Sorry.
Exactly. So but when you're able to pull it together, as Nathan has with this book, and I did with mine, you create this beautiful thing that the world is going to be blessed to have. So I'm excited.
We sort of talked to the people who've done the most campaigns, Brooke and Kay. I know, Brooke, you said this is kind of your first comic, so I'm guessing it's your first Kickstarter. And Kay, I'm not sure if you've done. So if you are brand new to Kickstarter, how has this experience been? What have you learned from watching the campaign and being part of it?
Oh, I have learned so much watching this process. I'm actually looking forward. I've got a few projects that I would really love to launch, one of which I'd love to do next year. And this kind of took a little bit of the scary factor out of that and makes it a little less intimidating.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Kay, have you run a campaign before, or is this your first?
Oh, this is my first, and promoting it has been hell on the nerves.
Yeah, it is. So let's talk about it. Like, running a campaign is rough. I think that I don't know if I can say this in a good way or a bad way, Kay, is Nathan's the one on the line here. So if you're going to run one, I'd say get Nathan to run it for you, so that there's less on you, because
is that a service Nathan is offering, Kickstarter running? Because I
this is an explain yourself exclusive. Yeah, this is an explain yourself exclusive. Yes, Nathan is here to run all of your campaigns.
All the Kickstarters.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you.
No, but it can be good stress and it can be very bad stress. Yeah. In the end, when you cross funding, when you're done, it's this glorious thing. But in the moment of it, it can be. So what you're feeling, Kay, is perfectly not just acceptable, but it's what everybody except for Charlie Stickney goes through.
Yeah.
Because he just rides a wave to heaven, but the rest of us have to kind of work. And he works by having the greatest book in the world. But no, it is tough.
Movie covers. He's been.
No. But yes, absolutely. And the pisser of it is, like, no matter what you do, the day after the campaign gets over, somebody's going to come up to you and be like, you had a Kickstarter going? I had no idea.
When are you launching that thing you talked about?
Yeah. Right, yeah. Like, when's that Concrete Acanum shit coming out, man? I totally want to back it.
I'm going to be right in your...
Yeah.
Mariah, you just...
I know back. How'd they find out?
Right.
Mariah, you just finished Usual Haunts a few months ago, right? And you're coming back with, I think, the second volume pretty soon?
Yeah, back in June, I ran a Kickstarter to fund essentially paying myself to make the pages. So it was just a digital release. I'm thinking that the next one I'll do might be a print edition release, because I've seen some interest in that. And I also would kind of like to make some additional merch, like fun stickers and stuff. But I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to be doing that because I'm working on another personal project, as I like to joke, which is having a baby.
Oh, that's right. I remember
Oh,
seeing that in your
yeah.
newsletter. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, so
Congratulations.
assuming everything goes good and according to plan, I'll become a parent at the end of January.
Wow.
How do you kickstart
Congratulations.
babies? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
I think the
Well,
closest
first
I've
you
come
have to
close-
love a book very, very much.
I think that's what shower registry sites are, essentially. Just open my baby.
Did you have to kickstart that, or was that? No, right.
Well, cool.
Mm.
Very cool. So, Brooke and Kay, I mean, you know, like Kevin said, you've kind of experienced this. Brooke, it sounds like you're focused in on maybe doing something next year. Kay, are you planning on giving this a go anytime soon by yourself in charge?
Well, I'm not sure if I'll end up launching Kickstarters for, the other projects I have lined up, but I am planning to publish them probably through Amazon or something like that.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
So can I give you one bit of advice that my buddy Juan at Creature Entertainment gave to me before I launched on? He told me the absolute worst thing a Kickstarter can be is 30 days of free advertisement.
Yep.
That's the worst that can happen if you don't fund is for 30 days, people heard the name of your comic, saw images from it, it got into their brain. So even if it doesn't fund, you've advertised for free because you don't have to pay a penny to go up on. I don't think any of the crowdfunding, Zoop, Crowdfunder, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. Now we usually do Kickstarter because that's what we know. Yeah, that's what we know. But you never have to pay to go on those things. And launching a book on Amazon is just as scary as launching a Kickstarter because you're still putting yourself out there. You're still putting the book out there, and people are going to, be there for you or not, no matter where you put it. So I just want you to hear the words I heard that gave me the ability to try crowdfunding. And of course, if you don't do that, that's your choice. But that got me off my butt and I did it. And, 10 years later, I'm still making comics only because of crowdfunding.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
And also Travis Gibb. I just kind of want to.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
No, Travis and I, we're 3 hours away, which sometimes feels like across the world, and sometimes we get to cross each other's path, and it's always wonderful.
I look forward to bringing my baby and wife to spend the night with you in a hotel and complain about what's going on in the real world instead of talking about comics. I look forward.
That child was the quietest, most amazing, 6-month-old I have ever.
Yeah, let's try it again. Let's see if you feel the same.
3-year-old's a little different than 6-month-old.
Yeah, for some reason, someone who talks a lot around him may have inspired him to also talk to everyone in nauseam. I don't know who that is, but whoever it is, they need to shut the fuck up.
Can't wait to meet a talkative Gibb. Cannot wait.
I
know.
Right now.
I know you guys are both in Florida, so everything all right? Any damage? I mean, everything going well with the weather?
I'm going to ask Travis more because the storm actually, I think, did get up closer to you because you're up north. How did you guys do?
It's really sad, but I was completely fine. Had no power problems.
That's not sad. That's
not
a really good thing.
Yeah, right.
My wife turned the AC to 70 in case it did go out. So I was cold in Florida. And all my friends are like, we're without power. We're still without power today. I went over to my friend's house to drop off some comics, and he was just like, David Galliano from Savage Bastards from Mac. He's like, yeah, we haven't had power in days. Like, I was like, you can come over. Do you need ice? What do you need? But yeah, I'm fine. I'm worried about comic impressions though. Did you hear about comic impressions? It's really bad.
I know where they are and saw some video and am very fearful for them. I don't know anything concrete. Do you know?
Oh no, yeah. Richard Boyd, Rich messaged me. They had to rip up carpets today. They don't know how bad the damage is, but it's really, really bad. It's going to be rough, and a lot of us have books there, so it's going to affect it. And Comic Impressions, I love those guys, and they can't catch a break. They had COVID a couple of rounds of COVID.
Paper shortages.
It's been rough. So please, if you're a praying person, please do that for them. They desperately need it.
And if you're a comic creator, just understand that they're trying their hardest.
Right. It's crazy.
And if you're a comic creator who usually uses them, Comics Wellspring does nice print-on-demand comics. I know that SourcePoint Press just announced that they're going to do print-on-demand. So if you need to get a book out, and Comic Impressions, who I think does just fantastic work, and I do recommend them. But if you got to get something out, kind of talk to SourcePoint Press or Comics Wellspring. I don't know. Kablam is also in Florida, so I don't know if they're going to actually be any better than Comic Impressions right now, because I don't know anybody there.
Yeah, but they're in Orlando, so Orlando was pretty good. I'm in.
They had some flooding though. Orlando had some serious flooding.
They did. I know him. He didn't say anything about his business, but I know he's okay. He posted that he was okay. They just got power back. But.
Yeah. And Joey Galvez, who lets us do this show on the Geek Collective, says he has some resources as well. So hit up Joey and see what that might be pertaining to.
Brooke, Mariah, are you either of you in the path of the storm at this point, or everything all right on?
I'm in Denver, so we're free.
Oh, okay.
If it gets to you,
Bad.
Hurricane Ian is a
right.
Yeah,
we have bigger problems if it reaches where I live.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm all the way up in the very tippy top corner of Washington State, so I'm.
Okay.
Excellent.
So if Brooke gets hit, then you need to batten down the hatches.
Yeah.
Until it hits Brooke, you're safe.
You're safe. You're good.
Kay, what about you? Are you everything? Are you safe?
I'm in a rural part of New York, so yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
awesome.
Safe from
Yeah,
that anyway.
I'm like Travis. We're on the east coast of Florida, and the East Coast was very lucky on this. But the problem with hurricanes is if you're lucky, somebody isn't. There's just if it misses us, it's going to hit Fort Myers or Tampa. If it misses us, it's going to go in the Gulf and hit Louisiana or Houston. It's like there's a lot of survivor guilt that Travis kind of talked about, of like, yeah, we were ready for it, and I'm super glad that we didn't get hit, but I'm certainly not happy that our the president of Scout Comics, James Hake, is over there. I've heard through the grapevine that his family and him are safe and okay, and Scout headquarters didn't get ravaged, which is nice to hear. But yeah, if you're lucky in a hurricane, somebody else isn't. So it's kind of like, I'm happy, and it also sucks.
Right.
But yeah, we got through it. I had COVID I had COVID in my house and a hurricane. Only my kid had a stuffy nose for 4 days, and she's negative today. And so for my wife and I haven't had any symptoms. So it's been so stressful, but also I think we lucked out and got through our two twin fears this week. So yay.
Right.
So, well, all right. I really appreciate everybody that hung out with us. Will and I are going to go through some of the campaigns that are still live. If you want to hang with us, we'd love to have you. And Washington State, if it's dinner time and you want to go, we understand. Denver, it could still be time. And East Coasters, if you want to go to bed, we're never mad if somebody takes off on us. But if you want to hang out and talk about the campaigns, we'd love to have you as well. So, but before we do that, let's do one last in case somebody just came in. Let's see. Nathan really did it. So I'm going to have you raise your hand if you want to do the 30-second pitch for the anthology. Who wants to take it over?
Oh, I like this.
I'm not going to force anybody. I'm not going to pick the shyest person. Unless nobody raises their hand.
No. Then they'll totally pick the shyest person.
Ooh, what happened to John? I'm sorry. No.
You know what? No,
Oh, there he is.
Hi.
Oh, he's actually talking. I'm sorry, man. I thought
I
you
would
were just
almost
hiding.
certainly pick John or Travis, but John is getting over a cold. So Travis, if you were going to sell Concrete Arcanum at a comic convention in 30 seconds, how would you get people's attention?
So you can go to Nathan's booth in Fargo. You
There we
have
go.
copies of this, as well as his wonderful books that he does himself. No, Concrete Arcanum is what happens when all the monsters we've talked about, ogres and beasts and werewolves and vampires, all come to life, all live in the real world. What does it look like? How do you respond to that in the real world? And this is a reflection of that with a series of 20 stories that tell all these wonderful things.
Awesome.
All
right. So if anybody is ditching us, we really appreciate you coming out. And when you have a campaign running, or Kay, if you're just putting it on Amazon, we will still love to talk to you and hear that process, because we've never talked to anybody about that. But we usually do crowdfunding too. So anybody, if you have crowdfunding, reach out. We'd love to have you on. But let's see, Will, what is still going? I think Magic Powder has like 4 days left. Jeff Schiller has written an awesome crime noir. If fairy tale creatures were in The Sopranos, basically, Magic Powder is the powder that they're all searching for. I think you might put it in your nose, but it brings about magic. And if in this world, first you get the powder, then you get the power, and then you can make magic and rule the world. And it is a really cool, fun crime noir in a fairy tale land.
I met a guy in a bathroom in New York once who had the same exact.
That was actually Jeff, and he got out of jail and decided to try to do this a little different way. But he told us that after the show, so let's pretend I didn't give this story.
Then we've got our friend MJ Massey, The Alchemist of Aurelia. That's going on right now, and it's magic in the I'm totally blanking on the time period. Ottoman Empire.
Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
really,
she does
she
does the writing and the art, and it's a fun book.
And if you back it, you will get chocolate. You won't get chocolate.
Yes.
But I'll say this now, and then you could get mad at MJ for not delivering it. No, really cool story. What I loved about it is sort of her protagonist. It just has no patience and won't do things the right way, and is going to lead her down some dark corridors, but hopefully by the end into success. And then Belial. Is that Belial or?
Yeah,
no.
Belial.
Yes. Chuck Pino, who is in, our very good buddy. This is a comedic story about the original ruler of hell deciding to take it back from Lucifer and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. It's a real fun comedic take on what could have been a serious story. And in fact, Sean Barber came up with the idea, and his idea was going to be serious. And he told Chuck about it, and Chuck had a bunch of goofy jokes, and he went, "Oh no, that's better. Let's do it." So Belial is just a really fun supernatural comic.
And then our Starry Universe was on last week with MJ.
He had the chocolate.
No. Nobody has chocolate. It's a space opera that has got some really gorgeous art. It looks like it's a really good looking book.
So basically, the lead character, Jessica, is the pilot. She's a pirate in space, and her ship is about to crash, and her magic that she didn't know she had kind of ignites to protect her and kills everybody around her. So she has this protective magic power that will help her, but if she can't learn to control it, what good is it protecting her if it's going to kill everybody around her? And so her journey is figuring out what this magic is, how to use it without it hurting others. And it's just a fun, like he said, a space opera, and just very gorgeous art and fun, cool concept. As we talked about, our buddy Rob Multari just launched Snowpaw. This is his Nightwolf companion piece. Snowpaw is a Scottish werewolf that's been fighting the good fight since about the 1800s, and this is her origin story. So if you know Nightwolf, you probably have already backed this. Rob is just great. The art on this is by Mog Park, and she is extraordinary. This book is so cool. Travis and I agree. Do not buy issues 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the floppy comic. You need the hardcover because you need our stories. You know, we don't get any extra money for that, but gosh darn it.
It's like this. Iron Man's a great movie. Captain America's a great movie. Thor's a great movie. But when you put them together and get all of them together and add, that's when it really is something. That's only in the hardcover.
Travis and I do consider ourselves the Avengers of comics.
Right. I mean, Rob Multari's great. He's created a great universe, and no thing, but
Nick Fury doesn't save the day.
Right. I totally get it. I'm not trying to belittle him, but Infinity Gauntlet, you need sure, we had to build it. Somebody did Infinity Gauntlet, and that's Kevin Joseph, myself, Tyler, the better stories. He did the setup so we could, hit it out of the park.
It's gonna be really funny if somebody reads it and realizes that there's 100 pages and we wrote 8 of them. Some guy I know is going back to Granite State Punk, which he has said is the best comic he has ever written. But he said this before he did a story and an anthology for Concrete Arcanum. So we got you, Travis. So what is Granite State Punk Breaking Edge? What is this, and how does it interact with the first one shot?
Yeah, so this is a sequel. When I created that, I didn't plan on writing a sequel, but Scout Comics and Black Caravan decided to pick it up. So this allowed me to do another one shot, because I want to see, hey, if it works, I want to have something ready to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, oh, it sold really well, it'd be really stupid to go, all right, give me 4 to 5 months. I got this, no problem. So I got it, and the story is breaking edge. So at the end of the last issue, it became sober. So we're addressing what sobriety looks like. As someone who's a child of an alcoholic and of someone who was in rehab most of her life, this kind of goes on that journey and discovers what it is. And mixed, of course, with the witches, punk rock. It's a story of Goody Cole, who is the first witch that was ever trialed in New Hampshire. I won't tell you the whole story of her, but here's the non-Travis Gibb version of the story. He told a whole bunch of people they were horrible people. They died. She's a witch. She gets sent to Boston. She gets brought back. She dies. Bad things happen. So they unbury her, put a stake in her heart, and bury her back into the ground. That's the nonfiction version.
Awesome.
And I just played
nice.
that.
That's a great tale.
And also,
go ahead.
Don't forget No Contest, another Travis Gibb production.
Yes, and I really need that to get to 100. I don't know why, but if I don't get to 100 backers, I'm just gonna cry, and you don't want to see me cry because I am a little bitch. It'll just be sad. People will make memes, and I'm very close to being popular in certain small comic circles, and they're just gonna make memes of me when someone's like, "Hey, your Kickstarter, hey, I only made 5,000." They're gonna cry and use me as a meme, like Dawson. Dawson's been crying for years. It's gonna be me.
I think you're more Tobey Maguire crying. You're not Dawson. You're Toby. All right,
I really
everybody.
wanted to be Dawson my whole life. It's really sad that you're saying that.
I've got 2 more, Kevin.
Yo,
before we
Who
sign
we got?
off. Mr. Guy Zombie Hunter by our friends at Oneshi Press.
Yes.
It's still going right now, which is a fun book with a zombie hunter who has a zombified arm with a ghost, and it's got coffee and madness. It's pretty darn awesome.
And they every single backer that Onishi Press gets, they plant a tree. So it costs them
Awesome.
a dollar to plant a tree, and you can actually bleed them of money. You can bid $1 on their campaign, and then they get 90 cents, and then they pay $1 for a tree. So you can either back this campaign for $30 and get a book, which is awesome, and you should because they're great people. Or it's kind of funny. You could like put them in the poorhouse. If we got like 1 million people to back this at $1, they would go bankrupt and save the world. So let's do this. Let's do the Explain Yourself bump. No, get the book because they're awesome and their books are all awesome. But they will plant a tree for you.
Yep, and that's I'm really intrigued by that, and it's something I'm hoping to maybe do in the future. So
I will say this for the first time. I followed their lead. Our last campaign we had 319 backers, so I did do it, but over 12 months. It's like $25 a month. I'm going to get to 320 over a year.
Nice. And then some guy that nobody's ever heard of, Pat something. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
he's doing Destiny New York.
We were destined to talk about this, weren't we?
Yeah, Destiny New York Volume 6. So Pat Shand has another beautiful Destiny New York book out, which is an amazing series of what happens after a child of Destiny fulfills her destiny at age 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. What does the rest of her life look like? It's an amazing book, and Pat's pretty awesome dude.
And finally, Indie Comics, Jack Lemmon, Clay Adams has Dream Quest, a 48-page Lovecraftian horror one-shot. It is one of my last 2 Lovecraftian campaigns I will back. I will do Cthulhu Invades Peter Pan Land, Neverland. And if you do a 4th one, I'm out. I'm telling you now.
Do not care.
What if I reprint it in like a box set? Are you in? Because you're not buying anything new. You're just buying it in a box set.
I think I'm
friend.
I think I'm out, but I think it's a great idea for what you should do as a business person. Just expect Kevin Joseph not to be one of your backers.
and unfortunately I've been traveling this week. There's about 5 campaigns that I just need to back, and I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. But one of them is also Sharp Wit in the Company of Women, which is an anthology from the same people that put out The Color of Always. They do
Brent Fisher, but they do really wonderful work. Important, cool. They're really trying to make books that matter and are entertaining, and they do a fabulous job. And that's definitely one I need to jump on. So. Everybody, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming in. Good luck with the rest of the campaign. We've got, 196 backers with 27 days to go. That is wait. We popped up to 197. That's the Explain Yourself bump just showing itself.
What it is.
But yeah, 3 backers to 200, and we're looking to get you to 300 or 400 by the campaign's end. So good luck, and really we're rooting for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep.